Resident Evil.
Hello and welcome to LoreDump with your host JT Money, and with me as always is CM Fuck Yourself.
Yeah, hey, what's up? Welcome to Resident Evil month.
Welcome to BIOHAZARD month, which is going to be labeled as Resident Evil because that's going to do better on YouTube, but we're going to refer to it as BIOHAZARD month.
BIOHAZARD's a better title, let's be real.
As we said in the end of Half-Life, it's a better title. It's also just more interesting. What the fuck is Resident Evil? Like, only in one game do you ever deal with a residential area that is evil.
Yeah, okay, one game. Do you do it in 7?
Well, 7's a swamp and there's one house on it, and I don't think the resident specifically is evil. Like, I'll get into that next episode.
How about 4? That's like a residential area.
You're dealing with like a whole island community on a made-up island.
Well, I mean,
no, legit. I get into that too. So today we're doing 0, 1, 2, 3, and probably 4.
we'll see.
Because Cold, honestly, the first couple games have just bare bones.
There's a house. You investigate. Twist.
There's a train. You're escorting a prisoner. Twist.
2's like... So
shit went down. Escape.
Yeah. 3's... Shit went down. Escape.
Right?
Like
4's where they start creating like an actual plot to the game.
3 didn't really have a twist. 2...
Well, because 3 was already at the point it was known. 2's twist was the underground facility.
The underground facility, and I will say the little girl... Sherry had some twists to her.
And Aydah, I guess,
Yeah.
as well. The twist of she's not actually FBI. But
I don't know. Who does she work for?
as Aydah, in that one, she just works for a mercenary. In 2, she's just a mercenary, from what I understand. Working for the highest bidder.
I think...
and
probably
later,
some lore, she's working for Wesker, probably.
from what I understand, in 2, she was not yet hired by him, but she knew about everything that went on from working with Wesker in the past.
I think I read something where she was working with Wesker, but that's based on Resident Evil Outbreak, so I'm not sure how well that takes...
So, I don't know if they've retconned that, because they have retconned some of the...
They've retconned it a couple times. The first time was in Umbrella Chronicles.
Yes. From my understanding, in 2, she's just a mercenary who knows about everything and is trying to sell the highest bidder, who ended up being Wesker, and that's who she ends up working for in all the future games.
Kind of like that more, honestly.
Yeah, it makes more sense. I mean,
Yeah.
she's not working with him at that point. Anyway, let's get into this.
I included a timeline, and this is not a release timeline. This is when all the games take place.
You missed one, the musical. Where's the musical at, Cole?
It's... No. How are we supposed to do the musical?
No, I'm saying, like, why didn't you include the musical in the timeline? It's the furthest point.
I didn't know a musical existed before we started doing this.
Does the musical have Blue Umbrella in it? I wondered.
Well, you could bring the actual umbrella on the stage.
Okay, I'm not gonna read the whole timeline.
Well, I want to bring up one thing. Is that, like, the
1998 sucks.
All these games take place in, like, 6 months?
Yeah, it makes sense from, like, the initial design standpoint of Outbreak to...
Yeah, it would
containment.
Spread, yeah.
Right, it would take a little bit. But then, like, the gaps are what always confuse me. Like,
Code Veronica didn't really need to be so soon.
It didn't. The Code Veronica could have been 2 years later. It would have still made sense, you know?
Yeah,
because it's about Claire looking for Chris, right?
Yeah, or an Umbrella, too. So she's looking into Umbrella to find Chris, because Chris is also looking in an Umbrella. So. Yeah,
this is back when Chris first started working with the BSAA.
Yeah, so she's, like, following the paper trails that he followed to get him.
I just love how, I was going to know about this. Chris's muscle growth needs to be a chart that we find somewhere, because it starts off nowhere.
It's exponential.
Gets to be kind of buff. 5, he's, like, the most jacked man in the world. 6, he's a little bit less jacked. And 7, he's tiny, so it's kind of weird. Like, it goes like this.
Does he punch boulders in the newest one?
In 7?
Yeah.
Dude, he rappels down from a helicopter. Says, I'm Redfield. We're here to help. That's it. That's what. Oh, and then I guess he has the Not a Hero DLC as well, which I'll get into next episode.
Yeah, so 1998 is worse than 2020?
Oh, maybe not. 2020 has not ended yet, Cole.
For one town. For one town, it's worse.
I mean, granted, 6 brings, like, apocalypse to the whole world somehow. Through the fog.
I didn't really look into 6. That was your job, I should mention.
I am, yeah. 6 will be most of my episode. Okay,
I included Dark Chronicles because it includes the Operation...
Operation Javier.
Yeah, which is brought up in 4.
Yeah, the where what's his name, Krauser and Leon work together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Revelations is in 04. 4 is in 04.
Yeah, there's a 5-year time jump to 09.
Yeah.
Like why? Like I'm like time jumps in this timeline don't make sense.
Well, 5 has the time jump to 09, which is where the game takes place, but then it has a plot in the past in 06.
Yeah.
In the mansion.
Yeah, but time jumps just don't make sense because like it's not like the outbreak and the war on it would take a break. You know, it's still ongoing constantly. Yeah, that was like 5 years, nothing important happened. You know,
it's like they replaced the like nuclear crisis with the biological crisis,
and that's what it was. Like Umbrella developed a biological weapon, they lost control of it, and here we
other
go.
people are able to like develop new and horrible monsters and stuff like that.
Well, that doesn't make sense. Like, so they vilified like Umbrella and made him the villain.
Yeah,
right? Despite Umbrella legitimately in the first game not really being wrong for what they were doing. They're doing what they were contracted to.
I think they're with the military, right?
Yeah, they were contracted by the military to make biological weapons, which is illegal, I should know. But hey.
Yeah.
But like, so like they weren't doing anything wrong at that point, but like by the time 4 rolls around, they're like this evil corporation that caused the global apocalypse. And it's like,
well, by 4 they're like shut down.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with the aftermath.
Yeah, they shut down in 03.
Yeah.
When the main guy became a monster and committed suicide.
Oh, of course.
Also, why do they willingly inject themselves with a virus, knowing what happens to everyone who injects themselves with the virus?
When did that start?
Wesker did it in 5, so at some point he had the virus in him.
Let's see. Did Wesker do it in 1, like behind the scenes to survive?
You're the one who did 1, man. I don't know.
To be fair, they never mentioned that in the remake of 2 or 3.
Yeah, like.
And in 1, it's just like, as far as you know, he's dead. He comes back in Code Veronica, which we don't cover yet, because technically it's a spin-off. I don't care what you say.
It's a spin-off.
If it's a spin-off with major plot points,
it's a spin-off.
That's not available on PC.
Yeah, true.
Weird, right?
Yeah. So like my big point is like from legitimately in Code Veronica, all the Rev games, Darkside Chronicles 4, 5, 6, and not 7, but 6. You have people who willingly gave themselves a virus or disease or something.
Yeah.
To then know what the fuck happens. You turn into a giant monster, and that somehow they think that will make them more powerful.
Did you include 2?
What? 2? Like, who willingly did it?
William Birkin. He became G.
G did it knowing it was going to kill him. He did it to get revenge.
Yeah.
Which I don't count that as like him doing it knowing it's going to like turn him into a giant. He did it because it will do that.
Yeah.
Whereas other people did it and then let it sit there for like years and then turn into a giant monster on command, which never made sense to me.
They could just do it.
Like I've always been so confused.
4's culprit of that. Mm-hmm. All of them just like turn into horrible monsters. Which I have a question, which we'll get into 4. Can they turn back?
No. I will know.
Fit it back in.
It's like when you squirt too much toothpaste out and you take the toothpick and you try to shove it back in.
It's like Men in Black 1, where the alien goes into the guy's skin, and then by the end the skin's rotting and he peels it off. Can they do that? Alright, so let's get into this.
Okay, let's actually start. S.T.A.R.S, Special Tactics and Rescue Service. Why is the "and" part of the acronyms always pissed me the fuck off?
I don't know. So I include this because you had the question of, what the hell is S.T.A.R.S?
Yeah, like, so, like, in 1 I understood, like, in the 1 remake, I kind of understood that they worked with Umbrella to clean up their messes, and also worked with the town to just be a more advanced police force. But, like, what always confused me was, like, why are they headquarters in the police department of 2? What really is their job? And also, why is Jill a part of it? In 1, she's useless.
That I can't answer. I don't know. They have poor...
She was so she vomits every zombie. Like, the first zombie you see in the game, right?
Yeah.
You go to shoot it. And then, like you're like, instead of killing it, you're meant to run back to Barry. And Barry kills it with his fucking Desert Eagle.
Look out! It's a monster!
Even if you kill it, by the way, you get that cutscene. Which is stupid.
Really?
Yeah. I killed it, and I got that cutscene.
That's dumb. They should have maybe taken into account. You might have done that.
Yeah, it should be a variable process where she reports to Barry that she saw a monster, and Barry goes and checks or something, you know.
Yeah.
But also,
he's checking out blood for more clues.
I should know that this is going to be much different than Half-Life, because we both have a lot of experience playing all of the Resident Evil games.
Yeah, we have bits and pieces.
I've played one. I played HD Remake of 1. I've played the original 1. I played the original 2. I played HD Remake 2. I played the original 3. Never played the remake. Played 4, 5, 6, and 7.
I've played. Let's see. I played original 2. I played 3 on original 3 on PC, but I don't remember any of it. I played 4, a ton of 4 on Wii, the best version.
I hate you. I played on PS2 and then I played
5. I remember I played with my brothers, but they were playing and I was behind them. I remember bits and pieces.
Do you remember the stupid light puzzles?
No.
Those are the worst thing to do when you have the AI. So when you have a 2-player, right? Mm-hmm. Right, the second player can go up the other stairs and do the other half light puzzle. When you don't have that, you gotta run back and forth.
Umbrella Chronicles is fun.
I've never played it.
It's just a shoot up game, like a point and click shooting game.
When does Operation Raccoon City take place?
Technically, in 2 and 3.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure that it's not like one person's going to be doing all the explaining. There's a lot of knowledge about Resident Evil in the room, just because we both had to do half of this.
Yeah.
So we both kind of know a little bit what the other one's going to talk about, and 2, we both played the games.
So S.T.A.R.S, I looked in the Wikipedia. Okay. It's an elite special forces division under the jurisdiction of the police department, but is apparently privately funded, and most of that funding comes from Raccoon City. From Umbrella, I mean.
Okay, so I guess I understand.
What I should
part of the plot of 2 is that the police department is run by Umbrella.
Umbrella basically owns the city.
Yeah.
So even in the hospital, they have a little secret section where they research their viruses. They own the police chief, which two brings in, but retroactively makes 1 more confusing, because you would think the S.T.A.R.S members would know about it. Yeah.
Right, if they are essentially Umbrella's private police force, and one is all S.T.A.R.S.
Yeah.
Right? It makes sense for Leon not to know in 2. It's his first fucking day. But, they're all S.T.A.R.S. They should all at least have some level of understanding, hey, Umbrella's up to weird shit, but it comes as a huge surprise to all of them besides Barry and Wesker.
Yeah. They were set up to stop terrorism in 1996, so only 2 years they've been set up. Mm-hmm. And Umbrella was able to put in Wesker as the captain to keep them under control.
Okay.
And Wesker had a whole plan for them to do, which we'll get into when we get to 1. So, July 23rd, 1998.
Resident Evil
0. The Ecliptic Express incident. So they're sent in to check out all the murders that have been happening in the mountains.
Yeah.
They're getting fucked up by zombies and slugs and spiders and dogs.
Okay.
So they send in their B team, literally their Bravo team.
Yeah. That B team got lost in the mountains. It's a line from one of the games. I forget which one.
They sent them in. They find a prison transport, mm-hmm. and they assume that this criminal from the army who killed 23 people killed all these people, which is he's a criminal who shot people. Why would he eat them?
Right. When did he become a cannibal?
Yeah.
Why did he become a cannibal? How did he become a cannibal?
There's a train there that's stopped that's filled with virus-infected slugs. When a weird dude in his white PJs sings from a mountain to them, and then you fight a big bug and it crashes. That's the whole 2 hours of the first section on the train, which is what most people remember of 0.
It's the most distinct part of 0, I guess, because it's the only part that's feels
so you
different.
go from 0, you go from the train to the training facility to I think the lab.
Yes.
Where the labs always blend together in my head for all the Resident Evils.
Well, I believe it's the same lab that's in 1. Because you meet Rebecca when you play as Chris.
No, because they go to a different one.
Okay.
So it's just in the same area. Because she goes out, because the lab blows up.
Oh, okay.
She makes it, it can't be. It's gone. It's gone, Jared.
Doesn't make sense then. How does she just wander to another lab?
Well, it's daylight and they're, the prisoner and her are on top. And they see
what happens to the prisoner in 1?
Oh, in 0, we'll get to that.
Okay. I've never played 0, so it's one of the few gaps in my knowledge.
I was playing it. I wasn't having a good time. I will note 0 and 1, the remakes. I didn't enjoy them.
The the one remake, which I'm the one who's going to be getting gameplay for it mostly, it's clunky. It's one of those things that if you like it, and if you don't, you don't. You know.
Yeah, and I turns out I
Zero's the
don't.
exact same game.
Yeah, I think I played one way long ago.
Do you get stuck in the camera changes? I get stuck in the camera changes so often.
Because I'm using the new controls that they offer.
Yeah,
so,
the alternate.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be easier, but when your camera changes, it's like, whoop, whoop, and you like do circles, and
I showed it to Morgan when I was playing it, and I was just like, look at this. I went up into an area, and I instantly go back down, and I hold the joystick, and it's just up, down, repeatedly between two camera angles.
Which, I guess the tank controls would do better.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do tank controls.
Oh god, tank controls are the worst thing.
It's like, what do you want? Which one do you want, Jared?
Do you want to play the game like it's meant to be played, or
Dude,
do you want to control like a normal human being?
Glad you said that. Same shit happened to me in Zero. I'm like, god damn it, there's no zombie, but I can't escape.
Right? The greatest enemy is the camera.
Yeah, and a lot of the combat and challenge is just dodging and avoiding, right. Which is really hard. It's really hard avoiding.
Anyway, let's get back to this.
Yeah, they crash into the secret training facility for their future executives. I'm not sure what they train them for. Maybe they'd be like, okay, so these are all of our viruses that we have. This is what you're in charge of now.
Here's the one that's getting injected in your neck, and have a good day. Right, like.
Yeah, they discover that the co-founder James Marcus made the T virus by injecting the progenitor virus into a slug.
Okay, that's stupid.
Okay.
I mean, Resident Evil's full of stupid and full of like, it happens because it happens. Like,
yeah,
the whole villain of 4, is not explained.
Really?
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. I'll get to it.
So while working on his queen leech, which in 1988, which by the way, do leeches have queens?
Do they have like a superiority? They don't. It's not like ants where they'll have like a
They don't have. Like a
hive,
yeah.
But like female leeches can be bigger and control men. I will note that is a thing.
But are they, like, to say they're a queen is
no,
like...
that's an overstatement. That's an over exaggeration. But leeches do have the ability to like excrete a pheromone that makes male leeches follow their. Fucking...
Maybe the T virus turns them into a hive mind.
Why has everything got to be a hive mind at some point? And you know what? That's not even untrue. Because there are points where, like the I mean, not the T virus, but Las Plagas are a hive mind.
Yeah. Las Plagas, I don't know what 5 is. It's like a tentacle monster.
It's a mix of, so after Wesker got Las Plagas, he engineers this.
Okay. Becomes very weird.
Yeah.
So he gets assassinated by Umbrella with Birkin and Wesker being cause behind it. But the leech gets in him and slurps right in and starts eating them for a decade. And
for a decade?
Yeah, exactly for 1 decade, and it gains his memories and the ability to shapeshift. And in the next, I sent you a nice picture. Look at him.
So fancy. Why is he so fancy?
Why
does he look so fancy?
So, the Queen Slug Marcus thinks it's the original Marcus and plots revenge against Umbrella and uses the slugs to cause the entire outbreak that was in the Accolade Mountains, because... And 1, you don't know.
Yeah.
So he's the cause of it, because all of his slugs bit people or killed them, and then they turned into zombies because they had the T virus in them.
So slugs caused all of this.
Yes.
Slugs.
Well, yeah,
leeches,
slugs.
Leeches, I guess.
I call them slugs.
There's a difference between a slug and a leech.
Is there?
Yes.
Not here.
A slug won't suck, and a leech will.
Not in this room.
Anyway, continue.
Since he was resurrected... He saw himself as a very Jesus-y type of figure with superpowers. Slug powers, if you will. God damn it. So that's why he wears all this? He has like a superiority complex?
I'm Christ. He's wearing white robes. If you're watching the video version, there'll be a clip of him at some point, but like...
Oh, I got a clip of him singing on a mountaintop to all of his slugs.
Sounds sexual.
So... Wesker and Birkin are looking through like security cams as this all unfolds and it keeps coming back to them.
Willie B.
Yeah. So they split off to do their things in 1 and 2. Wesker goes to the mansion to lure in the S.T.A.R.S to fight the tyrant. And Birkin and he's gonna go sell the combat data of them fighting the tyrant to a competitor, which they don't say who. It says the corporation.
In 4, they're called the Organization. That's their official name.
God damn it. And then
well,
Birkin goes to finish his research on G, which at this point he didn't have yet.
The G virus yet?
Yeah.
I mean,
he finishes it, and it has to be in the next couple months.
in the next couple days.
Yeah, he's like, needs to dot the I's and crossing the T's.
Because you gotta think, right? Probably within 3 days of this, the government raid on Umbrella and Corp happens.
Actually, no, I'll get into that. So this is in July. The outbreak happens in August. That's when it's...
2.
Yeah.
And then 2 is the important.
Yeah.
Continue.
So, yeah, Rebecca goes to meet up with the rest of Bravo at the mansion. Because that's where they went to rendezvous. Yeah. Barry leaves the franchise, having faked his death, thanks to Rebecca, and is on a beach avoiding these fucking zombies that plague this world. He never shows up in the series again.
I know that much.
But
he's also like an asshole throughout the whole game, isn't he?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, you're saving him from bug monsters and zombies.
And people keep questioning him, like, why did you kill these 23 people in the army? And it's like, so it was a setup in Africa, and his corporate made him was going to make him shoot on civilians, but he killed his comrades who were going to do it, but then he got blamed for the whole thing.
I wonder if it has anything to do with Krauser at some point.
I wish. I kind of wish.
Like Krauser was involved in that all too. Like, so it ties in a little bit better, you know.
I don't know.
Because Krauser seems like Krauser has the same like story. Like, he's anti-military because he was set up, and then he turns traitor on the government because he wants Wesker to lead the country.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. They blow up the Queen Leech, and technically, it should be mentioned that Marcus, the Queen Leech, he got his revenge. This sets him forth the whole downfall of Umbrella.
Yeah, but like, this is even furthering my point earlier that Umbrella is unjustly made the villain.
Yeah.
Like, at no point has Umbrella done anything against what they were paid to do. Like, are they a bad corporation? Yes. But
awful.
At the same time, like, they're being paid to do the things they're doing. They're taking advantage of systems made to take advantage of. Right?
Yeah.
They're doing nothing that I would say is vilifiably wrong.
I think
they're being treated like, because of what they did. You know what I mean?
I think they kind of start adding more and more backstory to make them seem
but I'm saying from the
evil.
beginning, though, they shouldn't be the villain, yet they're made the movies make them the worst company ever.
Oh, yeah.
And also, why don't you just start with the fucking impossible grid and just send it 10 times?
Yeah, just... Whoop. Why don't I just, like, send it back and forth and make it unpredictable? Like, it goes halfway, goes back a quarter,
Or just make a move infinitely.
Yeah.
Continue. Oh, Leon does dodge that.
So, yeah, Rebecca goes to the mansion, and the rest of Bravo that's alive gets slaughtered. Yep. And the next day, they send in the A-Team, which, why would you never send in the A-Team to begin with?
Well, I mean, like, maybe the B-Team needs some training,
Yeah, they got fucked up.
The A-Team is like what? It's Chris, Barry, and his Desert Eagle.
By the way, when you put up in footage, can you use Deadly Silence?
No.
Of RE1?
No.
Now, for all of you that don't know, Deadly Silence is DS. It was the DS version of Resident Evil, which it's amazing it runs there. And it was during the launch, so they didn't have much time to get used.
2 things. One, I genuinely don't know how to record a DS. Like, I think it's a special cord you need. I don't have it.
You need to have, like...
Or, like, I can emulate it and just record the emulator, but I don't want to do that. It's like, you get this awkward 2-screen, like, overlapping thing. But no, what was I say? So the A-Team is Chris, Jill, Barry, Wesker, Kenneth.
Yeah.
And there's one more.
The
pilot.
The pilot. I don't remember. He's mentioned in 3. He dies in 3.
Yeah. Pilots never live. That's the moral of Resident Evil. Don't be the pilot. Don't be the pilot.
A lot of pilots die in 3.
Anyway, so Resident Evil 1 mansion incident.
Yep. So they send in the A-Team. They hop out the helicopter. They find like a couple dead bodies, and they immediately get attacked by dogs.
If you open the door, you do let a dog in every time you open the door.
The fucking pilot, by the way, wrote it down. Brad Vickers. He fucks off. Which, to be fair, I would too. You're getting swarmed.
Bye.
I'm in the Goodbye. They get to the mansion, which, depending upon if you play as Chris or Jill, either Chris is missing or Jill is.
Yes.
And you decide to go Scooby-Doo. Split up.
It's Wesker's idea, I will note that.
Yeah, well, Wesker tells you to go look over there. I'll stay here. Then he just fucks off.
Well, Wesker also says it would be best if we stayed separate and looked separately, essentially.
Why doesn't anyone question that?
Jill does. Jill goes like, no, we should stick together. And he goes like, are you disobeying my orders, Miss Valentine? And she's like, no, sir. And that's it. Like, that's the end of it. But she does question it. Like, she's like, something's up. I don't know if Chris' campaign does. I've never played it. It's hard mode, and I'm not good at games, so.
Yeah. I didn't play it. I couldn't. I was running.
This took a lot of time to get together.
Yeah, it's a lot of games.
I got a lot of editing to do in like 3 days.
3 didn't take a lot of time. I'll get to that.
Okay. Anyway,
yeah, they Scooby-Doo. You find the rest of the Bravo teams inside, killed by the monsters. One was shot before telling you there was a traitor. Rebecca's fine.
Yeah, Rebecca is fine.
Yeah, she's just
got a nice little butt on her.
Yeah, she's
especially in the H3 remake, not in the original.
Ah, how dare you! How dare you! Especially in DS.
I've never played it.
You imagine more blocky but pixelated.
Is there touch controls in it?
Yeah, that's how you swipe. That's how you stab things.
Oh god, that's my least favorite mechanic is the defensive item mechanic.
Oh yeah. They find like there's a secret lab underneath the mansion used by the Umbrella Corp to conduct tests. From the T-virus, they inject it into a shark, because why not? Why not?
Yes.
Which was cut from the original, but put into the remake.
Yes.
Why is there a shark monster?
I don't know. Like, my favorite part, like, the best thing they add to the remake is Ashley.
I'm trying to think.
The girl who wears her parents' faces.
Oh, yeah. She's a big part in the story, too, because she's what all the original viruses came from.
Yes, she was immune to everything. Nothing killed her. There was
they kept injecting the progenitor, and they kept finding, like, they found, like, bits of the T virus. They found the G virus.
Yes.
They found the Nemesis parasite, which is how Nemesis operates. He is the T virus, like, tyrant, but he has a parasite in him that makes it controllable.
Yep. It's really cool, like, how, like, she's just, like, they found this one girl with the right body makeup to just
do yeah, and her dad was the architect of the whole mansion, and he's an idiot. He's a fucking idiot.
That mansion's the worst designed house in history. Like, I don't understand it.
He should be fired.
Like, if you design that house, how are you an
I want to know how you get to work. I want to know, like, okay, I got to pull on the clock here. I got to turn the dial here. I got to enter in this piano password. I got to
put gems in these faces down the basement below the cemetery. Graveyard, my bad. No, cemetery?
It's a graveyard, I think.
It's a cemetery. It's not attached to church grounds.
Oh. Well,
Don't worry, I go into that.
Maybe the mansion was a church before.
Anyway, continue.
Okay. Eventually found out that dun 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 Wesker's the traitor. Surprise.
I mean, we've mentioned that like 10 times already.
Yeah. His whole goal was to lure in S.T.A.R.S, to fight the monsters and the tyrant, to sell combat data to Umbrella's competitors, which I never understood the whole selling combat data thing.
Like, maybe if S.T.A.R.S killed him, they'd know how to defeat him, and that way they can use that to make the next weapon to defeat Umbrella.
It's kind of like The Incredibles, how he kept making the robots, and he kept making it better and better.
Yeah.
But this, like, it
would make sense if he was selling it back to Umbrella to make a better tyrant.
It never made sense to me. This also comes up in 3. Yeah. But, yeah, he blackmailed Barry, threatened his family if he disobeyed. And Tyrant is Umbrella's attempt to make a super soldier, a la Captain America or Hulk. I don't remember. I think Hulk's a super soldier.
Yeah, so Hulk is an attempt to recreate the Captain America.
That's what I thought. I didn't remember.
Yes.
Why does he always wear sunglasses?
I don't know. I think it's because his eyes have the virus in them.
But did he have them in Zero?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, that's why he does it later, is because you can see the bugs move around his eyes.
Okay.
And when he pulls them off in 5, that's the first time you see him without the glasses. He pulls them off in 5. Like this, and you see the bugs moving his eyes, and they go red. I have beat 5, by the way.
Oh, you have?
Just not since it came out.
Oh, well, yeah.
I remember everything about it, just kind of like, not like the beats.
But I want to know if the scientists ever question him on his sunglasses. Dude, you're in an underground base. Why are you wearing the sunglasses?
Anyway,
he gets killed by his own creation.
No,
Self-destruct. Well, no, but it looks like it. Self-destruct is set. You kill the tyrant with a bazooka. Brad flies you out of the whole place explodes. I shouldn't mention the awful dialogue, which is because Japanese people were like translating it to English without an English interpreter.
They did not have a integration team on it.
Yeah, I included some nice little excerpts. You want to just include the straight dialogue from the games?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to get the old dialogue because I don't have a PS1 copy.
Oh, you just get it from YouTube.
Like, my favorite line from the PS1 one is Jill Sandwich. It's the most famous, you know?
There's the Jill Sandwich.
That was almost too close. You were almost a Jill Sandwich.
Jill, don't open that door.
Or, but in the H3 remake, it goes, and it makes more sense, but it's still stupid. Stupid is like, I'd come in a bit later. You would have fit nicely into a sandwich. Anyway,
wow. Barry, upon entering the mansion and being chased by dogs, immediately says, "Wow, what a mansion!"
Barry is fucking the best. Anyway, let's continue.
I'll mention one more. Jill, here's a lockpick. It might be handy for you, the master of unlocking. Take it with you. Like, what? Who are you?
So that's some of the big difference between Jill's campaign and Chris's campaign. Jill has a lockpick.
Yeah, she has a lockpick. Chris has Valentine.
Yeah,
but
it's like, and I can't beat the H3. I can't beat it. I can't beat it. I can't. It's too fucking hard at that one part with the fucking bomb. I can never do it. Anyway, Raccoon City.
After it, S.T.A.R.S is disassembled and the investigation into the Spencer Mancer is handed to REPD to keep it quiet, and they make the Raccoon SWAT, which the officially in town is because all of S.T.A.R.S is dead. There's like 4 members left. How are they supposed to operate? Let's see, we got...
Brad's not technically a member of S.T.A.R.S.
Is he not?
No, he's just a pilot. He's not a police officer or anything. He's just a pilot.
Okay, so you got Jill, you got Barry.
Barry's dead.
No, Barry's alive.
He dies in Gaiden, if I remember correctly.
That doesn't count.
It does count.
Does not.
I mean, granted, you're taking the main plot. The guy Barry does
because he appears in Revelations 2.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe they just retcon Gaiden. Who knows? Resident Evil will change so much about their own past, it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
Like, was in every game you'll find a document that's dated like 2000 and it just changes something.
Barry relocates his family to Canada. Chris goes to Europe to investigate Umbrella. You find a little letter in 3 about that. Mm-hmm. Cheryl and Vickers were the only members remaining in the city to keep an eye on. And Rebecca left town. They don't really say why.
She's smart.
She's smart. Yeah. She goes, I think they might say she goes to college or something, because she's like 18.
How is she a S.T.A.R.S member?
I don't know. Like, she's not even a good fighter. She's just like a medic.
Right. Okay. RE2.
September 1998.
With my favorite character, Leon, the king of one-liners.
Yeah. He's excited for his first day on a job. Claire Redfield's off to visit her brother in the force.
Why did no one call him?
Don't come into work today. Also, what's his commute? Is he live outside Raccoon City?
So he was also moving in that
day.
Like, he was going to go to work and then find a place to stay with one of the cops.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, he was moving into Raccoon for the job.
Maybe you should have called him and said, don't come in. Just
phone call.
It's a shit show at work today.
He tried calling the police department. I mean...
It's a shit show at work today. Just don't show up.
Anyway, so yeah, him and Claire meet up at a gas station. They get going to the same exact place.
They get swarmed by zombies, and they jump in a police cruiser.
Mm-hmm.
In the original RE2, there's a zombie in the back that forces them out.
Yeah.
Well, in the remake, there's not.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Also, in the original, the zombie was just a reskin of the Leon model.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great. Which, it shows up real briefly, and if you're not really paying attention, it's like a zombie Leon.
Yep.
I love it. It's great. So they get separated.
And they're both trying to find their way to the police station.
Yeah. They meet the police chief as he's been.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, is he the police chief?
He's a sergeant.
Okay,
He's
yeah,
not the chief. He's directly Leon's boss.
So they both meet him.
Mm-hmm.
Claire has connections because she's the Redfield, so they have relations to Chris.
She instantly, you're Chris's sister.
Yeah, and then Leon's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have came into work today, buddy."
I like how he's just like, gear up. Like, why would I gear up? Like, the world's ending, man. Like, I should just run.
Yeah. Claire has to deal with Sherry and the police chief, while Leon has to deal with Aydah Wong and the poor
gun store clerk. And
yeah.
And then Mr. X appears and he throws a fucking helicopter out his way.
Yeah. I love Mr. X. He's so good in the remake.
He's the second best addition to any RE remake.
Yeah. A reporter gets his head popped when X gives it to him.
X gonna give it to you.
I love the YouTube videos of the X gonna give it to you. When he's around, he just BAM!
Okay, RE22.
Yeah. So it finds out that Umbrella tried killing Birkin for his G virus and T virus samples.
Yep.
He injects himself with the G and he has fatal wounds, which I will say the remake does do it wrong. In the remake, he's mostly shot in the chest, while in the original, he was shot in the right arm, I believe. So that's why it mutates.
Well, his arm is wounded to begin with.
Yeah.
In the cutscene, he's already dragging his arm away.
Okay.
Which implies that it was hurt sometime earlier. And they don't tell him to shoot. The dude just shoots him. One guy just fires all the bullets into him rapidly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, he goes like, the squad's like, okay, hold your fire, hold your fire. The one guy just rapid fires into him. And then he goes, hold your fire!
And then, of course, he becomes the monster. He kills the agents. And in the process, he drops the T-Rivers.
Oh, we're gonna talk about this more, but I just want to get into the boss fight. It's lame.
Oh, for G?
For all of them. All the RE remake boss fights are lame now.
Yeah, I will say that. There's one that's okay, and that's the first fight with Nemesis. You're on top of a big, like, construction building. He has a flamethrower. But honestly, it's just you hiding behind, like, obstacles to avoid. But mostly it's just because you're shooting something on his back, which... Yeah. In video games, never wear a flamethrower.
Always the biggest trope. You blow up the flamethrower.
Yeah, but honestly, like, they're not good. RE3 has some of the worst boss fights I've ever played. I was showing you earlier footage.
We'll get into that with RE3. I just wanted to make a point that right now, even the Mr. X / Super Tyrant boss fight sucks.
So Sherry Birkin turns out to be hunted by both the police chief and G. And G's seeking a compatible match of his DNA, while the chief's after her pendant. Now, in the original, the pendant had the G virus sample. So she was not only wanted by those two, she was also wanted by Aydah and Mr. X. So she's all kinds of fucked.
Yeah, and then she becomes the worst character in 6 somehow.
Yeah, but in the remake, it's just a key to get the G virus. Trying to remember, vaccine. Aydah convinces Leon to take a bullet for him, and she's able to obtain a tissue sample of G. She doesn't get the actual sample, which close enough. And that's basically the end. They blow up the whole place. You fight G.
They blow up the whole place. You fight Super Tyrant. You get out. You hop on a train right before it explodes, where you hop on the same cart that Claire and Sherry happen to be on.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then you ride off into the sunset.
Now, in the original, was it like... was one campaign where you mostly fight G and the other campaign you mostly fight X?
So, from what I remember, because I never beat the original 2, I was like fucking 6. So
Fair enough.
So, like, from what I remember, I only ever played Leon's campaign.
Yeah.
And it's a lot less being chased.
Really?
Yeah, you feel like a lot less under attack in that. But
Well,
in Claire's campaign, you apparently feel more chased than it.
I will say that one of the best additions to 2 is Mr. X.
Yes.
They completely change him totally to be a constant threat in the police station.
Yep. I mean, no matter who you're playing as, he's there. And, like, when you're Claire, she nowhere safe.
Yeah, and I even, like... There's, like, 1 or 2 spots where he just can't
fit.
He can't fit,
the clock tower.
There's the clock tower, and there's
the
like
under-stair safe room.
Yeah, the under-stair safe room,
where his model's just too big.
His model's too big, and it's just I think a gameplay thing.
Yeah.
To make it fit better, but it's him having to chase you. You hear his footsteps constantly, so you're always like, "Where is he? And then the lickers, you have to actually slowly move.
Yep.
Because they don't have eyes, Jared. They finally did that.
Yep. Anyway, what's Hunk, Cole?
Hunk is an odd fan favorite. So he's a side mission in 2, where you play as one of the Umbrella guys who wanted to get the G virus from Birkin.
Uh-huh.
And he's nicknamed the Grim Reaper. He's the only member to survive. And he actually gets the sample of the G virus out.
Is he the one who shoots him?
I think he scolded the other guy.
Okay.
But he survives the whole game and the whole series, and he
never comes back.
Never comes back. He's in all of the like mercenary modes and the side missions and stuff. He's in Operation Raccoon City. Does that count?
Sure. It's the least important game.
And he has a note in Code Veronica. He has a note that he delivers something.
Cole's favorite game he had to cover, RE3.
September 28th. I hated this game. The remake's awful.
The original one wasn't that fun either, I will note. Like, I'm not the big fan of, like there's two different...
So, in the demo, you put the demo of 3, there was the whole city section, which 3 had, where you gotta, like, help and get the train going, right?
Yeah.
Which is the best part of the remake, because it plays the most like 2, where you're running around, you're getting X item to unlock X area, and you get
like
another
30 puzzles simultaneously.
Yeah, it has a lot of that, and then midway through, Nemesis comes in, which the game encourages you to kill him, to shoot him and fight him, because when you fight him, he drops an item, which is upgrades to your pistol.
Okay.
Which also happened in 3, the original 3, but it makes no sense in the remake to do that, to encourage your players to fight a horror villain.
Yeah, it makes no sense in general. I never really liked the Nemesis concept. Like, I like the idea of being chased by an enemy, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't mind that. But, like, when the whole game's premise is you're being chased by this enemy the whole time, and it's only scripted sequences...
Oh, after like that beginning section, it's only scripted again.
Yeah, and then that's annoying to me. It's pointless. It's not. You're not being chased. I'm being told when this guy's coming to get me.
Yeah.
Whereas in Mr. X,
I think
is just there.
Yeah. In the original 3, it was a big deal because he could. Typically, when you left a room, nothing could follow you out that door. But in 3, Nemesis could.
Okay.
So that was a big deal.
It's because the old game had to load each thing.
Yeah, but they made it so he could actually follow you.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the remake, she wakes up in her apartment. Brad calls up to get the fuck out. Nemesis comes in like Kool-Aid Man, destroys the whole apartment. Joe is on the streets. She finds Brad, who explains that Nemesis is hunting all of the S.T.A.R.S members. Mm-hmm. And he sacrifices himself. He's like holding a door, but he got bit, so he's like, fuck it, go on without me. Don't fuck up like I did. And I think he says that. She finds a helicopter, but it gets shot down by Nemesis. And she hits him with a car. They fly off like a parking garage, and she survives. And Carlos saves him. Nemesis like grabs the first rocket with his tentacle and throws it off, but he hits him with the second rocket because he has a 4-rocket rocket launcher.
Okay.
She finds the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service.
Missile. Okay.
Whom is trying to gather survivors in the subway train to get out of town. Mm-hmm. They send her out to go get the train working by powering the substation and setting the train course. I think in the original you had to get fuel, too.
I think so. I'm not entirely sure.
Because there was a gas station, too.
Yes.
Which doesn't make sense.
So I played them out of order. I played 1 Director's Cut for PS1.
Mm-hmm.
I played 3 Nemesis, and I played 2.
Yeah.
So
technically, you played them in order.
Well, chronological, but in release, I played them out of release order. So,
which is interesting that 3 takes place before 2. Well, it takes place both, before and after.
Yes. Anyway, cool.
But yeah, you find out Nikolai's an asshole. I hate Nikolai. He's the worst character in all of the remakes. I'm including Jesus Man and...
Worst villain? I mean, like in the remakes, yeah. I mean, 6. And he pick a character from 6, so the worst at it.
Pick one.
They're the worst.
It's so you lure Nemesis to a construction site, and you lead to like an okay boss fight. Mm-hmm. You're just running around on top, avoiding the flamethrower, and you can hide behind pillars. So most just becomes you keeping like a stack of wood between you and him to not get burnt, and then when he
Wouldn't wood just ignite?
it does ignite, but it doesn't like collapse. I don't know. I'll show you gameplay later.
Super hot fire would just melt. Whatever. Done.
You blow him up, and you come across the gun shop clerk from 2, which is like, hey, member berries?
Well, here's the thing, though, right? 2 hasn't happened yet, so...
Yeah, so he's alive, and you find... He's like... And, she offers him a ride out of town, but but you can hear him in the closet room with his daughter, and she hasn't turned yet.
But she has probably been bit already.
Yeah. They really bring out a lot... Make you feel bad for this gun shop clerk.
I think it's supposed to make you relate to the people of Raccoon City. Like, that's the
I kind of like
the
it.
game design element of it, you know?
In the OG, he just sat next to a window and got fucked.
Right. I mean, the thing that's worse about it is 6.
Really?
Yo, there's so many random characters you come across, and they just all die.
Who cares?
Like, you crash a bus. Like, you get a group of survivors. You get in a bus to try and make it somewhere. You crash the bus, and they all die. But fucking Helena and Leon make it out. Perfectly fine.
Oh, it's so stupid.
Yeah, anyway,
so you make it to the train.
Drilled by Nemesis.
Yeah, he grabs one of the, like, the sergeant dude, but he has, like, C4 ready for him, and he blows himself up in Nemesis. Then he starts mutating. Nemesis turns into a dog.
It's my least favorite version of him, from what I've seen.
Yeah. Well, the game starts off, and he has, like, a bag over his head, and he, like, he rips it off, and it shows his fucked up face.
Yeah, the worm hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah. Carlos and another were on the train. They went to go find a guy named Dr. Brad through the REPD. Member berries?
Come on.
But honestly, I like that part of you going into the police station. You only go to the S.T.A.R.S office.
Yeah.
To go through all the files.
What if I blew it up already, though?
Oh, that's a problem. Oddly, you're not the one who crashes the helicopter into the police department. In the OG, it was, I'm trying to remember her name now. I can't remember her name. Jill?
The main character of 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jill. Jill Valentine.
Memory loss. I need some member berries.
Okay,
yeah, you don't have the helicopter crash, which in the OG, you caused that, which you see in 2.
But granted, you see the person die in the remake, though.
You see a helicopter crash.
And the person inside die.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it's like he's like, oh, well, let's kill that person.
Do you know the hallway in 2, like where the guy's like stabbed into the spike on the ceiling?
Yeah.
Nemesis did it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and Nemesis whipped the other guy's face that Leon later inspects, which is cool. Member berries. Honestly, that part I liked. I like going through it mostly because the level design was good because
it's 2, not 3.
Yeah. And it kind of felt like Umbrella's sending in their top squad because you have 200 bullets, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But then it happens again later when you go to the hospital, and now I'm just like, okay, this ain't fun anymore.
Then there's a dumbass fight with Nemesis running.
Yeah,
like a dog.
so like Carlos gets a call from Jill that the train derailed, but then it cuts 5 minutes before, and you see the other end of the call, and she fights Nemesis, and it has one of the worst boss fights. What it boils down to, the boss fight, you hurt him a bunch till he gets into a mode of like, he attacks you, he runs in a circle around you on like the walls. You let down a mine on one of the walls, it blows up, he falls down, his heart pops out, which seems like a design flaw.
They all have design flaws, Cole.
Or he climbs.
He does the same thing.
Or he goes to the top of the clock tower, which New 3 cut out the whole clock tower thing. There was like a whole level to the clock tower and a puzzle that you had to do, which they cut. I think you were supposed to get like a helicopter to the clock tower and get out, but in the OG 3, but not in this one, which is disappointing.
More level.
Yeah, but she defeats Nemesis, but he infects her, and she passes out. Carlos finds her and takes her to the hospital to find the doctor.
Okay, so there's something to do with Nemesis's specific T-virus and hearts being exposed. Because Jill's heart's exposed. You ever seen it? Like,
no,
she has like her beating heart's like invisible.
It's weird.
When she can do the fucking like wall dash shit, and she's super fast and is the most powerful character.
I know in the remake they had Nemesis like new zombies that like Nemesis grabs and he like morphs in their heads like a big eyeball with a tentacle. That's annoying.
Hentai monsters.
Yeah.
Anyway, RE3.
Oh yeah. So Carlos takes her to the hospital. He finds Dr. Brad dead with a bullet in his head.
Awesome.
He's fine. Minor head wound.
What?
It's a minor head wound. He's fine. He'll come back in RE10.
10.
REX.
REX Rex. If they don't name it T-Rex, I will be mad.
Yeah, so Carlos learns his employer's a dick and caused the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of stupid. But they inject it in the gel, and there's a whole wave-based section where you have to basically kill a bunch of zombies as they're coming through the door, and like, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, it lasts like 10 minutes, and I'm really bored because I have 200 rounds, and I'm just throwing grenades.
I can understand that, man.
So yeah, Jill wakes up on October 1st and learns the government's about to nuke them. They're about to nuke them unless Carlos can go get the vaccine for the T-virus, which they have underneath the hospital in like the facility.
Okay.
But they need if they don't give over the vaccine before the nuke drops, it's over. Because we're not waiting.
Yeah.
You know, this thing's getting out of hand. So Jill goes after him.
Mm-hmm.
They go after them. She finds the vaccine, which I had problems with this level. I hated it because you have the 2 vials that you're supposed to combine in the menu. I didn't know you're supposed to combine them in the menu.
Oh, I just do that with everything.
I didn't know. I thought you had to put it in the machine and it combines, so that's why.
Jill eyeballing a serum.
She like puts them together and it's like a cocktail. She shakes it.
What's the John Oliver joke? He's like, no, we only make medicine here with nearsighted old white men eyeballing measurements.
Yeah. So, yeah, she fights him. She gets the virus vaccine, but then Nikolai comes in, like knocks Jill over and takes the virus, and he says, if you can kill Nemesis and get me combat data on Nemesis to sell to other people, I'll give you the vaccine. Which, what?
Makes no sense. Anyway.
So yeah, then you fight the worst boss fight, which is even more annoying, and Carlos becomes your eyes and ears, and he tells you what Nemesis is, but
you can see Nemesis.
I can clearly see Nemesis.
My eyes work fine, thank you, Carlos. These 2 respawning zombies don't mean anything.
Yeah, they keep respawning, so there's no point in shooting them. The first time I fought the boss, I had a shotgun and a grenade launcher, so I had to restart. Great.
Okay.
Great. So then, you melt Nemesis, but he comes back and becomes a Bloodborne boss, where he's all
shoot him with the railgun.
Yeah, which was in the original, but somehow they've made this boss like 10 times over the top than the original.
It's always what they do, man.
Like, in the original, he was like a slug because he was melted. In the remake, he's like a flower and he like sprouts tentacles and he's attaching himself to the walls.
I need to show you the RE7 final boss fight.
And like in the original, you had to lure him in front of the railgun because it's like a clear.
It's straight fire.
Yeah, it doesn't move.
Yeah.
In the remake, she literally picks it up and it's a giant gun. It's like insane.
Is it because she has the virus and it's making her stronger?
I mean, I don't think so. She has the vaccine for the virus in her.
Oh, okay.
They shoot the blob Nemesis. They make it to the roof where you see a whole cutscene of them doing hand-to-hand combat. They got rid of cutesy events, but this just turns it into a movie.
I kind of prefer that because I'd rather just watch it rather than randomly have to hit A and X at the same time.
It's true. But at the same time, I'm playing a video game.
I mean, like, if you're going to make a cutscene, at least make it good.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, like, don't make a cutscene I have to interact with, you know?
Anyway. Yeah, there's some monologue about how... Because he breaks the vaccine, so they can't hand it to the government.
Stupid.
And, like, they're like, if you don't take me with you, you'll never know the truth. And he's like, I don't mind a little investigating.
And then it ends.
Yeah, and she does a whole monologue of how greed killed the city, which, no, it was a virus and a nuke,
It was
Jill.
some dude. It was some dude released his slugs, Jill.
Yeah, it was the slugs, Jill.
Umbrella is not the villain they've been made to be.
And, like, the trilogy ends with Raccoon City being turned to ash, which is a nice end.
Yeah, I mean, it's
if
fair
they
end.
stopped there, it would be understandable.
Nope. But now we gotta do 4. We still got time for 4.
We'll do Code Veronica later with the spin-offs that we plan to do.
Yes, that's gonna be the next episode after I do my 3 now because I'm getting 4 done now.
Yay! 4.
Okay.
Tell me about 4.
So 4 is the most straightforward of the 4 I got to do.
Okay.
Right. I got 5, which is stupid and just you kind of have to dig to find out what's actually happening in it. 6, which is way too much, and 7, which you gotta like dig just to if you don't get all the files, you don't understand the game.
Okay.
And there's 32 files to find.
Oh.
And the DLC is actually important to know what's going to happen next. Anyway, so 4 is a straightforward plot. Leon Kennedy, cop turned member of an unnamed organization, the Anti-Umbrella Agency, with U.S. Stratcom, is what they're officially called.
Wait, anti-umbrella, not just like an anti-bioforce?
No, Anti-Umbrella Agency, part within U.S. Stratcom.
Okay.
Is sent into Spain, which Cole thought was fucking Italy,
It might be Italy.
to rescue the president's daughter from a cult looking to use her to get close to the president to infect him with Las Plagas, so that the cult run by a guy named Osmund Saddler can rule the free world. That's it. That's the base plot of 4.
It's rescue the princess.
Yeah. I'm gonna go into the characters because I think they're the most important part of 4. Because 4 is nothing. That's the whole plot. I explained everything you need to know about 4 right there.
Yeah, done.
Right. I'm not gonna go beat by beat. I'm not gonna do that. That's not needed for 4.
Yeah, Leon takes down a whole cartel of
Fucking army of people.
Yeah.
With chainsaw women.
chainsaw
And giant ogres and a fucking sea monster with a fucking. Well, he goes in there with just a pistol.
Yeah.
And a knife. Leon's the best knife fighter in the world. Watch the death battle between him and Frank West to prove it.
I have a question.
What?
What happens to the seller after 4?
What seller?
What are you buying?
Never explained. He doesn't even have a name. His name is the Merchant.
Oh, because his main customer left.
I don't know why he even sells. Like it's like one of those mechanics. I think he's also supposed to be infected.
Is he?
Yeah.
So what does he sell?
Guns?
No, why does he sell?
I don't know. So anyway, the characters. You got Ashley Graham. She's the president's daughter. She's 20 years old at the time. She hits on Leon at the end. She's a useless AI. Personal recommendation is to leave in a dumpster. She is literally never important in Resident Evil again.
It's weird.
Never brought back up.
It's like a few characters that either you have 2 options. You either have one game and you show up and you're a character and then never again, or you keep coming back.
You're either Ashley Graham or Aydah Wong.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got Dr. Louis Serra, a mysterious, handsome stranger who had been a doctor amongst Sadler's forces, but was actually a plant working to be extracted by the organization. So he was planted there by Wesker to get Las Plagas, a superior Las Plagas gene, and he was working to be extracted by Wesker, and that's why Aydah was actually there.
So why didn't he get injected with Las Plagas to control him?
Because he refused. He didn't want his brain. One of the reasons Sadler also didn't want his brain to become warped. Sadler wanted full strength of Sarah's brain.
Okay.
And the Plagas can eat away at the brain.
Which
is not really mentioned.
Really? I never would have thought that. I mean, it makes sense. Most of the people are kind of brain dead.
They're on static mode.
Yeah.
From Sadler can broadcast the command of just homeopathic static. Just do whatever. Just do your normal daily routine. And, the organization, a group tied to Wesker, he traded freedom for a sample of a superior gene, which is given to Leon. Right? He gives it to Leon.
Yeah.
But it leaves to Ireland with Aydah to give to Wesker.
Okay. Which Wesker, what does Wesker do with it?
He uses it along with the organization to create the new version of the virus, which you find in 5 and 6.
Okay.
And then you got Ramon Salazar, my favorite character from the whole game.
Does he have the superior Las Plagas in him?
Who?
Salazar?
Sadler does.
Sadler?
Sadler's the only one that has it in him in the game.
Okay.
Ramon Salazar, really short, no reason why. He's about 20. Nobleman of Castellan, which is fake.
I like his little suit.
But it's really close to the name of Castellón, an actual area of Spain. So I wonder if they got in a little bit of trouble for that.
Maybe. I mean, for some reason, all the guns are not correctly named.
I mean, whatever. Punisher's best gun.
Yeah.
Mind Thrower's worst gun. That's all you
What's
need
wrong
to know.
with the Mind Thrower?
It's just not useful, man.
Did you get the laser gun?
What laser gun?
So after you beat it, you can get like this.
No, I'm not. I didn't play through it again.
Did you get the unlimited Tommy gun? That's
No.
pretty good.
No, I got the fucking... The Mind Thrower is useless because you need, like, a plan with it, you know? And 4 is not about planning. 4 is about running around and gutting what you see.
I will note the infinite guns don't help you with the fish boss fight.
Nothing helps you with that.
Yeah.
Except for having high health, which you can't...
And also really good wrist for wiggling.
I did not play this on the Wii. Oh, I mashed A.
Like a human.
Salazar was convinced by Sadler to free Las Plagas to redeem his family and himself, who were viewed as negative by the people, partially for abandoning the old religion, partially for being little pricks.
Yeah.
Like they're just also shitty people. Can be killed in one shot if you use the rocket launcher, which is my favorite thing.
Did you get that footage?
Yeah, I have it. It'll be played.
That's pretty good.
I made sure to get it when I streamed it. The other important characters are Jack Krauser.
Okay.
Worked with Leon on a mission before Operation Javier, as we mentioned earlier.
Who's big trench coat man with the big beard?
Well, he's just the village chief. He legitimately is known as village chief, and that's all you need to know about him.
I like when he becomes a monk. He like gets his bottom cut off and he like climbs on the
scorpion monster.
Yeah.
Worked with Leon on missions before. An American soldier turned mercenary, faked his death to join Wesker's side, and was in Spain on his behalf. Much like Aydah, he was the one who kidnapped Ashley.
Oh, he worked with Wesker?
Yes. He faked his death in Africa to join Wesker's side.
So he left the U.S. military to join Wesker and left Wesker to join...
No. He's a plant by Wesker in Las Plagas, in Los Illuminados.
Okay, so how does Los Hummus not
The
control
Enlightened.
him?
Say it in English. It's the Enlightened.
Okay. The Enlightened. How do they not control him since he has the Las Plagas in him?
I don't fucking know. It's not explained. Like, things aren't explained.
Because his arm turns into a big, like, chicken wing.
He has the Las Plagas inside of him. It becomes a giant knife blade that Leon could probably beat with a knife if he really tried hard.
I mean, he could probably fly if he flapped hard enough.
Damn it! Just in circles.
Because he has one.
But yeah, he's the one who kidnapped Ashley. He claims to be American through and through, and that he would never turn traitor on his country. Yet he's siding with Wesker, who is clearly a bioterrorist. Not really explained very well.
Yeah.
Aydah Wong might honestly be top 3 most important characters in RE.
Honestly, yeah, because she appears in so much, and
she's the one. She gets the G sample out of 2. Right?
Yeah.
She gets Las Plagas to fucking Wesker in this one.
Yeah.
So she furthers the development of the virus so much on her own that
if Leon killed her in 2,
the world would be in a better place.
Yeah, if Leon didn't think with his dick.
Okay, so she she furthers Wesker's plan. She is on the island to get a sample from Wesker, from Krauser, but her feelings for Leon force her to keep helping him throughout his trip. I don't never really understood that. Like,
why are they a thing?
I think she genuinely loved how caring he was about someone he just met, during 2.
Okay.
And apparently there's something, they meet again in between 2 and 4. I don't know where.
I can't tell you.
Because they talk like they have history more than just 2. And at the end, Ashley goes, "Who was that?" And he goes, "I guess it's someone I just can't quit."
Yeah.
Oh, Hunnigan, no glasses.
Leon's pretty great in 4. He's fucking amazing.
No chance. Leon in 4. His one-liners are great. Hunnigan calls. She goes "Why didn't you answer me for so long?" He goes, "Sorry, I was a little tied up." When he was tied to Sarah.
That's great.
His one-liners just make me so happy.
Also, his knife throw, A+.
Yeah, they break the sound barrier.
So, was this in Game Theory?
It was in Death Battle.
Oh, was it Chris versus Leon?
No, it was Leon versus Frank West.
Okay, who'd win?
Leon won.
Oh.
Leon is almost as strong as Chris.
Okay.
And his knife fighting capabilities. Also, he takes a rocket blast to the back and survives.
When was this?
6.
Well.
He falls off a waterfall in 6 and survives. He survives 3 plane crashes in 6. So he's just equally as tough as Frank West.
Yeah.
So that was the big thing. It was Frank West is super tough.
Mm-hmm.
But Leon's equally as tough and is just way more combat capable.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing was they did the math on his knife throw. And it would break the sound barrier. Because he throws a knife so fast.
From across a huge...
From I think it's 120-foot room.
Okay.
And he throws it, and it pins Salazar's hand to the wall before he realizes it's been thrown.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know. The knife stabs his hand to the wall, and he reacts after it's been stabbed for like a half second.
Yeah.
To throw something that fast for someone to react, it breaks, like that light, that fast, it breaks physics.
Yeah.
It's a physics breaking thing.
Which they included because it looked cool.
Yeah, it's a cool thing, right? And then he dulls Krauser to a standstill, and then Krauser does a double backflip up a fucking 10-foot jump, and they're like, how strong is Leon?
How'd he do that?
Like, he shouldn't be able to. He gets one cut on his face. Anyway, back to Aydah. She was running her own missions behind the scene. She helps Leon kill Sadler in the end, as she always does. She always tosses him the fucking weapon to kill the boss, just like in 2.
Happens in 1.
I'm saying Aydah specifically to Leon. She always helps him. I don't know if she helps him in 6. I didn't play 6 to the end.
Are we playing it tonight?
No. Although you were playing the prologue tonight. I'm making you play it.
Fine.
You have to experience my pain. And she makes off with a sample for Wesker and the organization. And now, the character I thought needed the most Osmund Saddler. Leader of Los Iluminados, which is really weird because he's clearly not Spanish.
What's up with the staff?
Yeah, there's Las Plagas in it. I don't know how or why, but there is.
How's it alive without a host?
I don't know. They live on their own. They don't die immediately.
I know there's some that live in armor. When I was
they don't die without a host.
Okay.
They can live on their own. That's how like the one. You remember the one that has like the stabby legs? As soon as the host dies, it's still alive.
Okay.
Remember those guys?
No.
They look like water striders. Bugs.
I remember there's one that spits at you.
So not the spitter one, like legitimately, they look like they have fucking like webbing between little stabby legs, and they're like have 8 legs.
Yeah,
they're the ones that when you kill the host, they pop out.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, they don't need the host to survive. The host just makes them stronger.
Okay.
Just like the armor ones, there's nothing in the armor. It's just the fucking bug that filled the armor. Which there's 2 different armor ones. There's the useless ones that fall apart immediately after swinging, and there's the really fucking tough ones that you shoot like 9 times with a shotgun in the face and they still live.
You sound sour.
That fight took me, I think, 3 tries because Ashley kept on getting my way. I shot her with a shotgun twice.
Why didn't you have the costume where she wears the armor?
You don't get that till you beat the game a certain way, Cole.
Well, if you had my copy with the,
I'm not playing your Wii copy, Cole. Anyway, so Osmond, he's clearly an outsider. He's not Spanish.
Okay.
So there's no reason why he should be let into their community.
Yeah.
And
how long has the Las Plagas, like, the Illuminated existed?
The Enlightened?
Yeah.
Only about a year.
Really? I always took it up that, like, they've existed for, like, centuries?
No. So the old religion, right, which never was given a proper name, which worshipped Las Plagas, was banished 100 years ago by Salazar's ancestor.
Okay.
Salazar III. He buried them underground and sealed them off, right?
Okay.
And he locked them all in there, right? And then for 100 years, the people didn't have that religion and stopped believing in it. But they still like wanted to worship it. They wanted to be free. Yeah. So Sadler comes in, somehow already knowing about Las Plagas, despite them being gone for 100 years, and it's never explained how he found out about it. Him already having researched into bioweapons on his own and having an organization that does that on his own with not ever explaining it, right? Comes up to Salazar, says, hey, your people hate you. How about you free Las Plagas and we reform the old religion, bro? We call ourselves Los Iluminados. And he just does it. Because Salazar has like this inferiority complex where he's so small he has to be seen as this great leader.
And
right?
I know in the game he has like the Las Plagas mother that makes more Las Plagases that eats him and you shoot a rocket in his face.
The Super Plagas is what they call it.
Oh.
In the.
How do they keep their like brain but the rest don't?
Because Sadler can control that.
Okay.
Sadler's superior one can control all the rest of them and whatever they do. Which is really stupid. But my biggest question is Sadler is not explained at all. He has zero. He knows. He already has bioweapons research. Already knows bioweapons. Already knows about Las Plagas, and just shows up and convinces them, and without any explanation. And Sadler's just like, yeah, that sounds good. And I'm like, how did this villain, who's clearly like German or something?
Yeah, he's not Spanish.
Like, yeah, man, I know what Las Plagas are, bro. Let's do this. And this is like, sure. Like I said, which it's unknown how he found about Las Plagas. It's just how he got access to the bioweapons. And I quote, lazy writing. That's why it's lazy writing. They just did one note just saying like, oh, Osmund Saddler, former researcher for the German bioweapons division of this company found out about Las Plagas during his research into ancient bioweapons. That would have worked fine, you know?
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They just said he knows about it. And it made me angry.
It's bad that they don't include, like, Umbrella's competitors.
They never mention any...
Like,
okay.
they could have...
In 7, there is one.
Okay.
I will get to that in 7 when we do 7 later. And next week will be posted. He leads the cult while Sarah finished... He convinces Salazar to free him, right?
Yeah.
He becomes the leader of the cult and therefore the leader of the fucking town and all the people because the cult is more important than the religious than the fucking hierarchy of politics, right?
Yeah.
Sarah was doing all the research on them, right? And he specifically put Sarah in charge of the machine that could remove them.
Okay.
In case he ever needed to get out of there.
Oh, Salazar?
No, Sadler had Sarah create that for the backup plan.
Okay.
Right? In case they ever needed to remove it and leave. He thought ahead, which I did like. And for a main boss, like main enemy, he's not a very fleshed out character, and it really kind of upset me.
Yeah.
Because, the 1-0.
Yeah.
He's kind of fleshed out, right?
Yeah.
He had a whole backstory and everything, right? 1, Wesker's the main enemy. You kind of know everything that's going on there, you know?
Yeah.
2, G has a good backstory.
G's interesting.
He's really the main antagonist. Super Tyrant's just a villain. Nemesis doesn't count. Nikolai sucks. But then you get the 4 and you get this guy Sadler and you're just like, he has no story. He's just, he showed up one day, knew everything, and then happened. And it kind of made me upset, and that's why this is the longest part I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I figured the biggest question you're going to have is, what the fuck are Las Plagas?
They're like a parasite, right?
It's ancient parasitic bug buried underground, which is then mined by Los Illuminados.
Okay, I have a question.
What?
So the big bug monsters that are invisible. Do you remember those?
What ones?
The bugs that have like a hive, the big humanoid bugs. I'm trying to remember their name. They're in the sewers.
Oh, those things. Yes. What about them?
Are they a Las Plagas?
From what I understand, they are a variant of Las Plagas that was stuffed inside a lower life form.
Okay. So. Okay.
They're not Las Plagas themselves. They're a parasite stuffed inside something that mutated to become that.
Okay.
Has the best enemy, in my opinion. Well, second best enemy in all Resident Evil games, and the Regenerators.
Yeah, the Regenerators are great.
Regenerators, by the way. With the D-O-R-E-S.
Why is it spelled like that?
Spanish.
I don't believe you.
It's Spanish.
It's Italian.
I still don't know why you thought that was Italy. Cole thought it was Italy for the longest time, apparently.
Well, it makes sense because Italy's a boot, and then it's off an island. Italy doesn't.
Spain's also right next to the ocean on
Spain
two sides.
Nah, it doesn't have.
So like Las Plagas are just they're just a bug, and like so my questions are like, so how did he mass infect the whole village?
So I don't know. How does Las Plagas normally infect people? Because they don't have.
Eat it.
Oh, that you would eat it and then you get fucked up?
Yes.
Okay.
He injects it directly into your bloodstream, which, if you look at the thing and the needle they inject in you, doesn't make sense.
It's like an egg, right?
It's like it's a little living mini one, like about that big. If you look at when they inject Leon's neck in the cutscene, it's a little mini one, like about like a slightly bigger than a quarter. I shouldn't say that big on the audio-only format.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger than a quarter. And they use like a regular gauge needle to inject it into your neck when you would need like something that thick. And you have to inject it into like a leg or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I was like, so how did the villagers just get in line for giant bug demons put in them? Like, did they just line up for this?
I always thought it was like a tiny egg in the syringe and it injects in you and then
you see it move.
Okay.
You can see it like move around, so that's why I think it's live. It could be an egg, I don't know. But did the villagers just line up for this?
Was it in the water?
Did they know it does the mind control?
Maybe it was. I don't know. That's odd.
I had a lot of questions about like the logistics of it more so than anything else.
I mean, as soon as you get a majority of the people infected, you could just infect everyone else forcibly.
Yeah, but like the religion hasn't been around for 100 years. Like, why do they instantly go like, "This is cool. Let's worship this again"?
Yeah, I mean, if you told me to worship Norse gods again, I'd be like, why? But also, cool.
My final question is my most important one. Where did they get all the chainsaws?
They have a lot of chainsaws, Jared.
Where did they get them all? Any questions?
I can't think of any. Oh, what's the fish?
Dalago?
Yeah, Dalago.
Dude, I've looked into it, and it's kind of just like a giant ancient sea monster infected with Las Plagas so Sadler can gain control of it. And that's all they said.
So did it exist between the 100 years?
The lore says it existed longer than Las Plagas did.
What? That doesn't make sense.
It's it's giant on its own.
Okay, so it's just a giant monster that they, like, threw a Las Plagas parasite at, and it ate it.
Apparently they make sacrifices to satiate it.
Okay.
So it's like it was terrorizing the whole people, right?
Yeah.
And then Sadler came along and was like, well, we can use that.
Well.
You see, I have a plan. Let's put an egg inside this meat.
Throw it at it.
Oh, I don't even know if it is infected, actually. It never shows any signs of tentacles or bugs.
It's not like the big ogre that, like, in the back of its
you
spine.
stab it and no bug shoots out. Blood is normal. It might just be a regular living thing that they just use as protection.
Maybe.
Because it stops going after you at some point. It just stops.
Yeah.
You don't kill it.
Is the ogre just a regular guy that got big?
It's legitimately some creature that they have living in the mountains there.
What?
Exactly. Yo, man. 4 has a lot of questions that don't get answered.
So it comes up in 5 because that has the same boss, but he has a beard.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they flew him there. Maybe Wesker said, I want...
So are there giants existing in the RE universe?
I guess so. There's so many questions that 4 brings up that they just ignore.
What?
Maybe it gets answered in Rev. Or like Rev 2, or any of those games that take place after 4.
Yeah.
But
maybe.
from what I've read in 4, and I only did 4's lore because I didn't want to expand upon it too much. Because I didn't want to infer. So that's 4. That's all I had to say about 4. 4 is by far the easiest one I got to talk about.
Yeah, mine were pretty easy.
Yeah, man.
There's not much to them.
Join us next week for 5, 7, 6 in that order.
Do you want to do all 3? Because 6 seems like it's 4 games stuffed into 1.
It's 2 games with 2 DLC quests. Because Chris's mission is so ancillary to the plot, it's not needed.
Okay.
And Aydah Wong's quest is needed for the plot, but only for specific points in which she interacts with Leon. So, essentially, you play through those points as Leon, so they're not needed. So, I'll just say right now, Aydah's whole point is to find her doppelganger. And Chris is also hunting her doppelganger. Oh, it's fun. Oh, God, I can't wait. There's a clip. You gotta watch it. Ooh, so good. Anyway, join us next week. Thank you so much for listening to this, me, Angry Man, and other Angry Man, in this case, 2 Angry Men rants about bad lore for a franchise that we both love. Because 6, I played 6. I played it for an hour and a half.
I watched him play 6.
And it was painful. And it made me feel upset. Like, it made me retroactively hate 1.
It looked like it wasn't fun.
It's just not. There's nothing redeeming about it. Like, some games, like, I have fun watching bad movies. I have fun playing bad games. Because there's just a point where a game is so bad, it's fun. But Resident Evil never crosses that line. It's so bad, it's bad.
Yeah, I watched you play Sonic 06, and it's the best experience of my life.
I hate Sonic games, but I will play them because there's some level of fun of just watching the game glitch out and you fucking die. There's some level of like frustration, but some level of like it's so fucking stupid. I enjoy it. But with 6, I was just like, there's nothing redeeming.
You have to wait for the person to stand by the door to go through the door.
Gotta wait to open doors. The fucking wave mechanic. I'll get into when I talk about 6. Oh my god, I'm not even finished writing about 6 yet.
All right. It's been nice talking to you all.
Yeah, thank you for listening, and as always, we'll see you soon.